All right. Hello, everybody.
Good afternoon.
We are here to talk about The One-Eyed Man by Ron Currie as part of the Collier County Public Library Virtual Book Club. So, The One-Eyed Man by Ron Currie is a book about Kay, who's not sad about his wife's death, not since he realized that Einstein's relativity means that nobody ever dies and nothing ever ends. Instead, he gets caught up in the little things and obsesses over the truth. He wonders why a bottle of hand wash doesn't say soap, and he goes to the grocery store to demand answers. He pulls people over on the road to question them about their bumper stickers. He's not trying to be a jerk, but he often comes across as such. After he stands at a crosswalk for hours because the sign was broken, he's in the right place at the right time to sort of save a coffee shop barista from a mugging. And this leads to a stint of minor celebrity and the offer to lead a candid live-action reality show where he questions people about their deeply held beliefs. He exposes the hypocrisy in the process and often gets beat up for it. So, Anna, what did you think about The One-Eyed Man?
Well, let me first say that the reason why I chose this book was because I had read Ron Curry's earlier stuff and always thought his material has been thought-provoking. I chose this one also because I had met Ron Currie at a writers' conference back in 2013, I think it was, and I knew that if I asked him, he would probably come to our book discussion. So I thought that would be exciting.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and did that. And so next week on the 23rd at 12 o'clock, we will be hosting a live Zoom book discussion with Ron Currie, the author, live with us.
Fantastic.
Not with us here, but he's going to be on from Maine. Anyway, so I've always thought that his books were, like I said, they're provocative, and they're provocative on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that it would be a good discussion, regardless of whether you like the book or not.
As she seems to be indicating, I was not a fan of the book.
I really liked it. I thought it was pointed and extremely timely. Even though he wrote it maybe 5 years ago, even today it's extremely timely with the way pop culture and politics and our quest for being politically correct goes, and why we do these things, and is it helpful, is it harmful, all of those things.
The book was written in 2017, or published in
Published, yes.
2017. And I think it takes place in 2014 by some of the math given in the book. But, yeah.
Yeah. So I found it to be, it's really two stories that we're talking about here. There is the present day where Kay is becoming extremely literal. When I first started reading the book, I thought, oh, whoa, this guy is on the autism spectrum somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized the further I read that it's really has to do with the backstory of which is his wife who died of cancer, and what that did to him emotionally, how it just completely broke him in a way. And he's looking for clarity and facts, and that's what brings him into the mess that he gets into in this book. But the portions where we go through him watching his wife die and getting sicker and sicker, and just observing a person in their last days, you can tell that he really has gone through this himself, that somebody close to him died.
Ron Currie?
Yeah,
Yes.
the author himself, yes, because it's happened to me, and I'm telling you, he's spot on. It broke my heart to read it, just because of my experiences with my mom. So, but
I
yeah.
thought the story of his wife's death was a heartbreaking and human story that was you know, interesting and applicable and well written to something that a lot of people are going to have to go through.
Yeah, everybody has to go through it.
Everything after that, though, sheesh. And definitely, I thought the story was essentially a sad story altogether, because it's all him dealing with that grief in a strange and unconventional way.
Yes.
And so you come to see how he got this way, and it's just not fun.
No.
And not all stories need to be fun, of
No,
course.
not all stories need to be fun. I did think there were some humorous parts. For instance,
It is, on the surface, it is a satire,
yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. And I also appreciate the fact that he doesn't satirize one political party over the other. He
It is
takes pot shots
bipartisan.
at both sides, and he doesn't spare anyone, basically. There are some very thinly veiled characters in this book. For instance, he does
Raquel Haddock.
Rachel Maddow,
Gil Meyer,
Bill Maher,
and Rolf Kibitzer.
which is Wolf Blitzer, and then there was
There
also
are more, but yeah.
the one who was Nancy Grace, and I can't remember what her name was.
Francie something.
Francie Finesse, I think it was.
Yes.
Yes. So, but I thought it was an interesting take on looking at some of the ridiculousness of pop culture and politics, and just making the point that why are we doing this to ourselves, and just that was what I took from the novel. But let's go through some of the questions that I posted last week.
Sure.
So, do you think Kay is on the autism spectrum? Why or why not?
So Peggy, his mother-in-law, says that to an extent Kay's always been Kay. So that can be interpreted to mean that he's always kind of been like this to an extent, but I think most of it is the way he's processing his grief. He's neuroatypical to some small extent, but I don't think it's full autism.
No, I don't think so either. I think at the beginning of the book, you certainly do think that's where your mind goes first.
Right.
But then once you get into his backstory a little bit more, you realize that, oh no, this is something completely different. So how does Sarah's death affect Kay? Do you think his behavior is normal for one who is grieving?
It's certainly not, as we've alluded to. So he takes some of Einstein's words to mean that nobody ever died, or to tell himself basically that nobody ever dies, and so there's no reason to be sad about what happened, and so he immediately burns all of her belongings.
You didn't find that a little funny?
No, I didn't.
I found that funny just because he drags he goes through the house and he picks up everything that belonged to his wife, and he takes it out to the front lawn, and he bathes it in gasoline and sets it on fire, which in turn sets the trees on fire and sets the electrical power line coming down, and he was so, how did this happen kind of thing. It was just so innocent of him, and I found that a little funny.
But and then as the book progresses, he keeps being in situations where he's talking to somebody, this kind stranger, a doctor, because he keeps ending up in the hospital. He sometimes finds a kindred spirit who kind of sees things the way he does. But all of them tell him, this is you processing your grief, and he dismisses that out of hand. It's just hard to see it.
Oh, we have a comment
to
online.
See him doing that again and again.
Mari says, I think that would be anger to set fire to her stuff. Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, a little bit, possibly. It just depends
I
on
think it
the
was
person
buried
and
pretty
situation.
deep, but yeah, I'm sure he did have some
And
anger.
also more anger at himself because he blames
He
himself
blames himself,
quite
yes.
irrationally for not catching her cancer soon enough. And other,
I don't know that that's so irrational. I mean, I think a lot of people,
yeah,
um, blame themselves for things that are completely out of their
right.
control. And and to answer my answer to the question, do I think that his behavior is normal for one who is grieving? I don't know that it's necessarily abnormal. I don't know if there is an abnormal way to grieve.
Yes,
I think that
yes,
people
there's,
do all sorts of crazy things when they're mad with grief,
mm-hmm.
all the
Yeah.
time.
So it's not what we would normally think of as grieving.
No,
It is grieving, and
absolutely.
it's not. Yeah, that's not to say that it would be irregular for that to
No.
happen, because anything can happen in that circumstance.
Okay, so why does Kay have to make everything so literal? Do you think this helps or hinders him?
Well, okay, it hinders him drastically and often, uh, but
He gets beat up a lot.
I think in the context of the book, it eventually works its way around to helping him get out of the funk that he's in.
Yeah, I agree
Uh,
with that.
yeah, so it's not a healthy way to um, absorb his grief, and very little any of the characters do in this book is healthy.
No, that's true.
Uh,
This is true. But, I mean,
but it's true to people
it's
too.
true to people. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of us have habits that we are not proud of.
Hmm.
Yes. Um, so, well, we haven't talked about Claire at all yet, though. So Claire is the Total Foods clerk who ends up going on this journey with him into the world of reality TV. And she says she's his manager or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why does Claire follow Kay into the land of reality TV? Do you think her motives change over the course of the book? Because initially she did it because she wanted to be famous. Or so
Right.
she says.
So he winds up in the hospital for after saving this lady, um, and not Claire, different lady. And then after he does an interview that goes viral, Claire hunts him down and just attaches herself to him. Um, and I guess she does that for, yeah, a little bit she wants to be famous, a little bit she's interested in this guy, a little bit she's disaffected and doesn't have anything else going on in her life.
I think the fact that she's disaffected makes Kay all that more refreshing to her.
Uh-huh.
Just
That he's honest.
he's honest, where so many people are not. I mean, he's honest to a fault, obviously, but I think it definitely. Anyway, I don't know where I was going
And
with
then
that. I lost my
and
train of thought.
she changes over the course of the book. She seems to fall in love with him,
Mm-hmm.
at least a little. She's refreshed by his honesty, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then by the end, she's gone full circle and is disaffected for a different reason,
Right.
that relates to the conclusion of the book that we want you to read and discuss with us later.
Yes.
Discuss with us in 1 week, 12 o'clock
Next Friday.
next Friday,
Mm-hmm.
on Zoom. You can send us emails to find out about what that is, or to get the invite to that.
Yes, we will put the information on here. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. So Mari.
thanks for that. Thanks for that
Yeah,
insight,
thanks
Mari.
for the comment, Mari. We really appreciate that. So we're gonna put. Okay,
As putting in my
typing
email
a
address.
comment. Yes, his email address that you can send to get a invitation to our It's hard to type when someone's watching you, isn't it?
Yes.
Hurting my eyes.
Okay, send me an email to get the Zoom invite.
All right.
All right, proceeding.
Yes. So, let's see. Does Kay experience personal growth, and do you think he changes?
He does. It's hard fought,
Yes.
long time coming,
Yes.
but by the end of the book, he has come at least a little bit to terms with what happened to him, how to move forward with himself, and he's entered witness protection, but that's a different story. And I think he's probably not quite so annoying by the end of it, as well. So, and that would be also the other part of his personal growth.
Right. Right.
What about you?
Yeah, I definitely think that he does experience some personal growth. I think that his relationship with Claire is problematic from the very beginning.
Yes.
But I think that he ultimately learns about maybe his relationship with his wife Sarah, who died, a little bit through this relationship with Claire,
Mm-hmm.
and he. I think he changes. I don't think it's a lot. I think he still has definitely some growing to do, but don't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a man over 40. I don't think they change.
I don't know.
they can, like, a little bit.
I think that I continue to grow, and I'm over 40.
Man over 40.
Man over 40. I'm sorry. Please excuse me. You may be right there. But we'll have to ask the author next week.
We will.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I guess what I didn't like about the book was that people's behavior runs counter to anything that makes sense to me.
For instance?
So it's, and I know it's satire, but that doesn't completely absolve it. Claire really gets to the heart of it early on, just because he's grieving in an elaborate and unconventional way, and his sole demand is truth and clarity in everything that he sees, and that is literally impossible because the world is just so darn complex.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just him, because everybody wants to attack him for his honesty, when he's kind of espousing a perspective they've probably heard before, and they should have a coherent rebuttal for it rather than just violent rage. So yeah, I guess that's kind of what bothered me.
Okay.
The title.
Yes.
Is it just an allusion to Erasmus's "In the Land of the Blind, the One-Eyed Man is King," or did you see anything else in it?
Well, he uses the quote at the beginning of the book, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, but I think that was where he drew the title from. Did I see it anywhere else in the book? Literally, no. No,
Right.
There were no one-eyed men in the book.
Right.
But I think that Kay, being sort of myopic in his, not myopic, but yeah, myopic.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Myopic in his quest for facts. I mean, let's face it, the guy's Dwight Schrute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in his quest for facts, he does actually make a point, I think, that maybe it's not the right thing to do, but it definitely does reveal to us that, oh God, what am I trying to say? I have this thought in my head and I can't articulate it. I'm going to have to work on it for next week because I can't do this in front of the author. He will. I will be embarrassed. So, but yeah, I think his myopia is definitely pointed in that it shows us maybe how not to be, but also that he's showing us a different way to view things. That maybe we go through our lives every day and we are, battered by stimuli from every corner of the globe. I mean, we have our phones, we have TV, we have the news, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have all of this stuff, and it's all so much that, and he doesn't do any of that really. I mean, he is on a reality TV show and he's using some fancy technology to record stuff, but other than that, he's pretty much off the grid, I would say. He has a phone, but I don't see him being wired in like so many of us are, and maybe there's a lesson to be learned there as well.
Mari's right. He does have rage issues.
Yeah.
He burns all of her stuff, and then
Yes.
later in the book he destroys his house.
Yes, that's right, he does.
Uh-huh.
Oh, absolutely, he has rage issues.
Yeah, and but he doesn't think he does.
No, and that's the problem. That is the problem.
Therapy would benefit all of these characters quite a bit.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're all cast from the mold that therapy doesn't. Therapy's for other people. So.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can discuss that next week.
Yeah, we can discuss. I'm looking forward to having the author in, so we can get his take on, why he did this book, what his purpose was, and what his hopefully goal was to demonstrate to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would like to hear that. Mm-hmm. Dude didn't feed his cat, then he went to the hospital for several days. Cat's dead, right? Except he's not at the end.
No. Well, I mean, if the cat is an outdoor cat, obviously he's okay. But yeah, don't leave your cat alone for 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you next week. Make sure to send me an email to get the invite to the Zoom meeting, or comment if you have any questions for us.
Yep.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.